I will let everyone in on a little bit of a secret. Camila was literally asleep when we kicked off.
Oh my God, that's just been happening a lot today. I just fall asleep anywhere.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because obviously it's one of those cases where things exploded very quickly, and it's exploded around the world, hasn't it? So you're traveling everywhere.
Yeah, it's really amazing. The good thing is that I'm really happy, and I feel like when you're happy, you have a better tolerance for being tired because you have all this adrenaline and happiness in you. Whereas if I wasn't having a good time, even if I got 8 hours of sleep, I'd be tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally, totally. And it's so great that you feel happy. And what I think is also good is you took a little bit of time to get the album right as well, didn't you? Because there were quite a few songs, actually some of them which I loved, but you didn't actually end up putting them on the finished product. So talk to me about that decision.
Well, I really wanted it to be cohesive, you know? And I felt like I had just outgrown certain emotions and certain songs, and I wanted to just listen back to it and it be this like perfect picture of that time. And I felt like some of the other ones were just not, they were before the picture. You know what I mean?
Because you changed the name of the album as well,
I did.
Didn't you? And it's now just Camila.
Yeah, that's why. It feels like, I don't know, for me, if I have like a certain vision on something or a certain project, everything has to fit that. And I just felt like when I changed the album name, it definitely changed a lot, like the direction in which I wanted to take it. And all of a sudden it became about trying to capture who I am and like my essence and like how I love people and how I feel when I fall in love and how I felt writing the album in LA and my culture. And I felt like I just wanted it to be an introduction to who I am. Because
Havana is obviously one of those songs that now everyone in the world knows. It has been everywhere. It has topped the charts, obviously in America, which is a huge thing. But I guess what's interesting is when you were in Fifth Harmony, some people may not have known about your Cuban heritage and how important that musical style actually was to you. So that song was a real awakening for you, wasn't it, musically? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I have listened to Latin music since I was little because that's what I grew up around. And I felt like with my album, I really wanted to explore every single part of what influenced me. And I'm just really... Everybody always asks me like, oh, is it conscious that you try to, you know, represent your heritage and your culture and your music? And for me, it's just like it comes so naturally because it's just such a big part of who I am. Like I listen to Latin music all the time just because I love it, you know? And I really wanted to make an album that was just like the meest version of me.
So you actually only came to America, to Miami, from Cuba when you were 7 years old. And you're very passionate, aren't you, about this big debate that is being had at the moment in America and with Donald Trump about Dreamers, because obviously, potentially, you wouldn't be in America with all of these opportunities.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I feel so, one of the reasons why I feel this responsibility to talk about it is because I feel like it's almost unfair because my family and I have the same story as these kids. I went on the same journey, and it's so easily, there's no reason why it couldn't have been me. That imagine if somebody just knocked on my door and was like, you can't live in Miami anymore. You have to go back to a home that you don't even have anymore, that you don't even remember. And I just remember like the day before the Grammy speech, I saw this video talking about the Dreamers, and there was this one family where like the dad had been living in the United States for already like 15 years now. He was being deported. And I was just like, that could have been my dad. Like, you know what I mean? And I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's so unfair. And I feel a responsibility to talk about it so that people are more aware. And also, because I have the same story, it's different when you just hear people's opinions about it and you don't hear the stories of the people actually living through it. You know?
Was this one of the reasons why it was important for you to go out on your own as well? Because obviously we first got to know you, and I first got to know you in London as a teenager, a member of Fifth Harmony, the band that came from the X Factor. Yeah, you were so young.
I was.
But always so sweet, and always actually very ambitious,
Thanks.
and you knew what you wanted, but I think you always knew you were going to do it in a nice way in particular. But I'm just thinking back to when Jerry Halliwell left the Spice Girls, and one of the reasons she did it is because she wanted to be able to talk and be passionate about projects that meant something to her.
Right.
Was that part of the reason for you to be able to find your voice in that way?
Not really, because I think I actually wrote an essay about immigration and my family's story while I was in the group. So I did that even while I was in the group. So no, that wasn't really one of the reasons. But I think musically I can do it now, which is something that I couldn't do before because I couldn't release solo music in the group. So now I can do it musically. But I was always able to, speak my mind. So that wasn't one of the reasons. The reason was just that I wanted to be able to express myself creatively, like in any way.
Now, some people will be surprised, Camila, that you actually came from the X Factor, because obviously it was the American version of the show.
Right.
But that means Mr. Simon Cowell is still involved in your career. I guess one of your bosses, is that right? Is that how it works?
I guess, yeah. I mean, he's really... I'm on Epic and Psycho, and so Simon is the president of Psycho. And it's cool because he's one of the few people that have known me since I was like 15.
Yeah.
And not even like 17, like the acne had cleared out. I was like, I was starting to get the hang of this life thing. But he knew me when I was like 15, and I saw this clip actually of me in my audition for X Factor, and I say something and I'm smiling, but there is just such fear in my eyes. Like I'm like, so he knew me like, since I was if you knew me when I was a fetus, he knew me when I was like a cell.
Well, in fairness to Simon, he is always very, very good at picking talent, and he has said actually that he always saw something in you on that show, and it's great that it's now coming together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I have to ask, Camila, lots of rumours about you having found love, and obviously you write quite a lot on the album about heartbreak.
Yes.
Are you happy at the moment? What's going on with that situation?
I am happy. Yeah, I'm happy.
Excellent. Well, that's all I want.
Great, Dan.
As long as you're happy.
Thanks,
As
Dan.
long as you're getting some time to yourself.
Thanks.
In this crazy industry.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. That's really important. I think that was actually one of my New Year's resolutions that I established at the beginning of the year, is that I wanted to have more of a balance this year, and to, even if that means not sleeping in 2 weeks, but just like,
get some sleep.
I know.
As someone who doesn't get much sleep, please get some sleep.
Okay, I'll do it if you do it.
I promise.
Okay, me too.
Camila, I'm so proud to see where you've come over the last 2 years. Congratulations, and thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks, Dan.